chicks. Reptiles. Long ago, these two species lived together in harmony. But as time passed by, the reptiles became arrogant and full of themselves. One day, they attacked the chicks and demanded their own territory. Ever since, the world has been divided into two kingdoms that refuse to deal with one another. What the reptiles do not know, however, is that the power of the chicks lies far deeper than their harmless outside appearance. I vow to ensure that the chick kingdom remains unharmed. Who am I? My name is General Chocho. Soldiers! Last night the reptiles snuck up to the royal palace and stole 3 of our queen's eggs. They're underestimating us because of her cute outside appearance. The big question is, how do we use our knowledge of physics to defeat the reptiles? These are cannons. Your job is to get inside the cannons, shoot up towards the enemy's castle and create an opening so our ninjas can retrieve the eggs. But in order to do so, you must know how to aim precisely. Today, what you will be mastering is projectile motion. Let's suppose I roll one of you on the ground with an initial velocity of 5 meters per second. So long as there are no external forces acting on you, such as friction and air resistance, you are bound to keep moving at a constant velocity of 5 meters per second forever. This, of course, means that your acceleration is equal to 0. Now let's suppose I dropped one of you from a cliff. In this case, the only force acting on you would be gravity, and you would accelerate constantly downward at a rate of 9.8 meters per second squared, which is equal to the force of gravity. But what would happen if I combined both of these motions and rolled you off of a cliff at a rate of 5 meters per second? In this case, you are a projectile. A projectile is any object shot through the air after being given an initial thrust. The path in which you travel is called a trajectory. If you observe the trajectory, you will find that it is a combination of both of the previous motions. The horizontal and vertical motions of a projectile are always calculated separately. However, this is not the motion we will be using in our attack. Shooting you from a cannon means that you will be a projectile launched at an angle. There are several important quantities that you must consider while attacking. First, in order to get the clearest airborne view possible, you must know when you've reached your maximum height. Second, in order to accurately locate how far your enemy is, you must calculate your range. Third, in order to know how long you will remain airborne, you must calculate your flight time. Finally, you must be able to adjust your angle of release from the cannon in order to land on your enemies. I need help in order to make you understand these quantities. I need
Chick Platinum!
Chick Platinum at your service. In order to find these, you must take aid from the uniformly accelerated motion equations. You can get just about any information about a trajectory using these. Maximum height is basically the highest point the projectile goes vertically. For this, you need to determine when the final velocity on the y-axis is equal to 0. Using the third equation, you can find this by setting the final velocity to 0 and solving for the distance. For flight time, you can use either the first or the second equation, depending on what information you have. Substitute all the known values and solve for the time. Since this is a scalar quantity, the motion on the x or the y-axis doesn't affect it. Another thing to keep in mind is range, the distance the projectile goes along the x-axis. This is important to avoid missing or overshooting your target. It depends on the initial velocity on the x-axis and how long the projectile stays in the air. So to find range, you multiply the velocity on the x-axis by time. And finally, the angle of release. The only way you can master the angle of release is through training. The closer your target is, the higher the angle of the release, and the farther away the target, the smaller the angle of release. It may sound confusing, but practice does it.
2 weeks later, the chicks marched out to battle with the reptiles, bracing all the possibilities ahead of them. As it is for the reptiles, it seems they were not ready to face the wrath of the tiny physicians.